Well, ladies and gentlemen, if it's Sunday, you know what it's time for. Sundays don't mean what they used to mean. He's Wayne Steiger. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, and this is not your normal Sunday. And Wayne is already on about Paula White.
Oh, man. Hello, Jeffrey. How you doing?
I'm doing good, my brother. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Welcome, everybody who's watching. Yeah. Paula White.
What's up with Paula? The only white lady in a black church that people are probably, she's making six figures from people that are on government assistance. But anyway.
Yeah, that's a strange.
Apopka, Florida.
Apopka, Florida. I've been there many times. I don't know.
Too many times.
The interview that she did on Fox, I walked away from thinking, well, this is the one thing I don't understand about Donald Trump. I know this woman. I mean, with the interactions that I've had, I don't know. And if she's his pastor and has been, yikes.
Yeah. I think he just needs the evangelicals for another election cycle, and then it's over.
Do you think that the evangelicals are that important anymore? You know, they used to be a big block. You had the Reagan Democrats, and then they all got in there. I just asked that question because Pew Research did they put out on Friday this new study. I don't think the evangelical block is that big anymore. I don't really, maybe it's 20, 30 million votes, but I don't know.
Well, I hope not, because if it isn't, that means I'm doing my job. But they're undoubtedly,
well, see,
they're undoubtedly not as big as they used to be. And, I think the Democrats have made, and we don't want to make this a political show necessarily, but I think the Democrats have made a catastrophic mistake in their desperation, and desperation breeds more desperation. They've come up with this fake impeachment thing, and all it's done is activated and solidified Trump's base. I mean, he went to Dallas the other day and broke the attendance record at American Airlines Arena. Beyonce couldn't do it. Rolling Stones couldn't do it. And they have succeeded in answering his one question: Can I catch the 2016 lightning in a bottle again? And they're doing everything they can to bottle it up for him and make it just like 2020, because they have got his base activated. They've got his base motivated, just like they were in 2016. So I'm predicting on the record here on October 20th, 2019, an electoral landslide for Donald Trump in 2020.
Okay. I don't think so, but I'll be
huge, Wayne. Huge landslide, big landslide, okay. Massive landslide. We will win big league.
Okay. Listen, I'm not saying that, re-election is not possible, but I don't know. The way things continue to unroll, and we live in a time when uncertainty is definitely the one certainty.
Cautious observer, I don't know where they got these statistics, but it'd be very interesting if it was true. They said that 21% of the people at the Dallas rally were Democrats. I don't know where they would get that data from.
I don't know either. No,
that would be interesting.
If that is the case, I mean, that would be a very large shift. And
I believe it more because Dyer says that she also saw that stat. So Tracy Dyer is pretty good with her facts.
Well, there's enough fact checkers in here that we can saw it. And, I think you have to really look at the news source too. I don't know. I mean, that to me, I'm suspicious. How do you get a statistical value of 21% of the audience?
And Wayne, they also turned away at least 10, 20,000 people. That's amazing stuff. Bernie gets 20 up there in Queens there, and that's all over the front of CNN. Trump goes 50 plus in Dallas and nobody mentions it, but the media is fair.
Yeah, they are. Like I said, I hope maybe that we can see that. I have a little darker view of things, so I'll just I
know you do.
I know
they've got this. They sent up pedophile Schiff to read a transcript that didn't exist, that made up, never imagining that Trump would actually release the real one. And now they're stuck with egg in their face. This is why they don't call for a vote. This is why they don't make it official impeachment, because that's a trial, Wayne, and both sides get to present evidence. And when you're a crook, you don't want to subject yourself to a trial. I doubt that they ever formally impeach him. We'll see.
Well, you're taking your point of view that they play by the rules. Listen, I know this. They're already holding a trial.
Can you?
That's what I'm sitting here just out.
Can you formally impeach a president without taking a vote in the House?
Absolutely. They're going to do it.
I don't know if it's constitutional.
Well, I mean, look at the Obama administration. These are the Democrats that put in the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Mm-hmm. It's illegal. They knew it was illegal. It was unconstitutional in 2010. It's about to get slapped down by the Supreme Court. You know, I'd like to say that politics plays fair and goes by the game book, but it doesn't. Schiff is already holding trial. That's the thing that they're doing it in secret courts. And listen, you look at the FISA. If you look at the FISA courts, that is one of my points. The FISA courts go against the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, but yet it's established law. You can go to the FISA courts, and that's how they got the wire tapping for Trump.
Yeah. But even if they do the House does all their stuff, which I don't think they can do secretly, and they decide they want to remove him, they still can't do it without the Senate. And I don't think there's enough turncoats in the Senate for them to get Trump out. I really don't. It's going to blow up in their faces.
I hope so.
It's based on a lie. He made it up. He literally made it up.
And I heard a story about a guy that they nailed to the cross. The same thing.
Yeah, how about that?
So, I mean, and look, everyone believes that crap today. So, I mean, I don't know. We live in very dangerous times. I don't like it when I read stories like Mattis, going around now bad rapping the president. I thought Mattis was a better material in that.
But Wayne, you know what Mattis's problem is? Mattis is a general. He gets paid to kill people and break things. And now here's a president that not only refuses to start new wars, now he's ending old ones. You can't kill things and break people when the president's waging peace. So that's why Mad Dog's upset. He needs to go away. I don't know
the Syria thing, buddy. That is, I think, was a blunder on Trump's part, but that's just my opinion. And
waging peace instead of war, doing exactly what. When's the last time we had a president that actually did what they said they were going to do when they got elected? And he's doing it. So, landslide 2020.
All right, I disagree with that. I think if he gets in, it'll be by the hair of his chinny chin chin. And then it will be, and trust me, it will be challenged in the courts.
Well, if you think it's been fun the last 3 years, wait
crazy.
The next 4, because not only, here's the thing, because he's spent these last 3 years deconstructing the mainstream media and putting the Democrats in the chaos they're in now. But guess what happens after 2020 when he doesn't have to stand for election again? He goes after the Republicans too. Both sides of the deep state need to be drained. Both sides of the swamp need to be drained. And everybody in Washington that's part of the deep state, the dark state, the professional politicians, they're scared, but now they've created this thing and they can't stop it. Trump is Godzilla and there's no Mothra in sight.
No.
We'll see.
I tell you, I do believe that
it's been a long time since I've been wrong, Wayne. I'm just saying.
Now, that's the problem. When you start taking that stance, my friend, you are going to be wrong.
It's been a long time since I've been wrong.
I'm wrong every day. So,
well, I mean, about stuff, but I mean about this stuff, some of the predictions I've made. Well, what happens if Trump does get beat at the ballot box?
Well, you're going to see a whole shift.
I wonder if the Democrats manage to do some finagling and steal an election, Do those white hats that oversaw the first election, if they have proof that this one is fraudulent and they're military, do they just say, no, he's not leaving? That would be fun.
What you see, what gets me, we're having this conversation about what future is, but right now we are in a constitutional crisis.
It's a coup. It's definitely a coup.
Well, Trump made it a constitutional crisis when he said, I'm not going to play your game. And as he told all these people who are being subpoenaed, don't obey it. Mm-hmm. So that is a constitutional crisis. And I read an article where Judge Roberts, Chief Roberts, mm-hmm. they're already preparing for this.
Yeah,
they are. They know that it's coming. So I don't know. It's if this was another country that you and I were talking about, this is very perilous times. I mean, if the military turns, then I don't know.
That's interesting. I can't help. I'm excited. I think it's good times, fun times, exciting times. I like it. Maybe there's something wrong with me.
Well, then there's the other side of the equation, the electronic prison that we are all encased in, and it's getting tighter.
Yeah.
Tighter and tighter. TechCrunch, there are companies that are now working in technologies where you won't need to carry your ID anymore. None. Wherever you go, due to AI, facial recognition, augmented reality of biosignatures, they're actually getting wearable now that can actually track you by your identity, by your heart rhythm, by your blood flow. Now,
interesting.
When you get down to that minutia of detail, that's a prison.
Yeah.
I don't care who's in Washington. Someone else is controlling us.
The more I hear about how bad it is and it's getting worse, the more I just hear in my head, no, it's good and it's getting better. I don't know that, and I'm standing on it.
All right, you stand on it. I'll be the protagonist here, and
well, that makes for good radio.
Well, listen, the fact is that the article that came out, and I think it was in Bloomberg or maybe in the Wall Street Journal that came out, the article, Amazon everywhere, anywhere. And Bezos' master plan, there was this beautiful article done on him. It was a great biopic piece. And this guy is in for world domination. He sees this thing in a whole different framework. He is a Star Trek enthusiast. He sees that.
Bezos?
Oh, yeah, heavily. So I see this as, well, this is my personal view. I've done shows on this. I see this as the fall of sapiens and the emergence of what we would call the Homo technica. We'll put another word to it. But I see that the sapiens are dying out. I think we will be gone within the next 200 years, and that you'll see the emergence of a new Homo sapien, whatever we want to call that.
Homo technica sounds like a dance party in West Hollywood.
Could be a good one too.
It could be. I do believe we'll be gone in the next 200 years, Wayne. I think we'll be on to our next show. I mean, I say that we're the last generation of real humans, and I believe it.
Yeah.
We'll be gone. We're moving up. We're moving on. We're like George and Wheezy. We are moving on up, cousins.
I don't know. I see this, and I'm of that generation now, where I don't know. I look at my grandchildren, and I know they're going to be growing up in a totally different reality than we could have ever even thought of.
I'd agree with that.
I feel sad because everything that they do, every move, and now with this, what they call the BIC, this is what it's called, brain interface chip. And many companies are working on the BIC platform. I saw a number of them recently at a venture capital startup show. And we're moving into a time where the only thing limiting us right now is bandwidth. The military found that out as well. We can't do robotic tanks. There's not enough bandwidth. They slow down.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's, and then they're moving quickly towards this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still say if we insert a chip into the human brain, and by the way, they've got volunteers lined up around and around the block. People want this chip. And
have fun with it, guys. Enjoy
yeah,
it.
I don't
I
know.
ain't taking it.
You know, and then I look at the Chinese. The Chinese are building a super race. They are so heavily into genomics that the stories coming out in the press, and the Chinese are not hiding it, they're looking to develop a super army of humans. These are going to have humans, they're going to have super abilities, and this is what they're aiming for.
Look
Good
up.
idea. In 10 years, we all may be speaking Chinese.
Look up, the king is coming soon.
Who said that?
Oh, one of our favorite little trolls. But you know what? The Bible, I'm convinced more than ever, the Bible is a book of opposites. It's an opposite code.
Yeah.
And I keep looking and seeing when they say peace and safety, sudden destruction will come upon them. And the opposite of that is when they're saying sudden destruction, peace and safety is about to come upon them. And that's where I'm at. Peace and safety is about to come upon us. It's not getting bad, and it's not bad and getting worse. It's good and getting better.
Well, I'm glad that there is a voice such as yours out there that, you know, and no, I'm serious because, you know, many others look at, there just seems to be a volley of things. You look at biosynthetic food production. And the UN on Thursday just released their report. 40% of the population of the world is now obese.
Oh, yeah. That's a conservative estimate.
And if you have bad health, how do you have good life?
You don't.
No,
that's why we're the last generation of real humans.
And I don't know. I was shocked when I read that. You know, I just thought it was over here. We're eating this high fructose processed, you know, whatever you want to call it, Soylent Green. But apparently the world is too.
I bet we are eating Soylent Green. We just don't know it.
You know, Jeffrey?
Not me. I mean, I quit eating meat, and I didn't mean to. I just sort of quit. And so far, really good. So anyway.
Well, you know, now you don't have to give up meat because it's synthetic meat.
Yeah, I don't want to eat any of that synthetic stuff. It doesn't. Mm-hmm. And even people that say that they are vegans, vegetarians, how much of this synthetic meat stuff do they eat? And what is it made of? Is it any better? I mean, is eating chemical creations that are not meat any better than eating chemical creations that are meat?
Well, I just went to the grocery store. I shopped for our house. And, you know, I spent a lot of time in the produce section. And you know, anyone needs to do is that you can rub your hands really warm, and an apple, for instance, and start rubbing off that wax, and you begin to see exactly what the fruit is that you're eating. I noticed this year that there were a number of certain vegetables that we didn't see this year. Cantaloupes were virtually non-existent. There are no pumpkins this year. They had a blight in the drought. But getting back to the vegans, you know, I asked them, why makes you think that you're so much superior? You're eating chemicals. I don't care what it is. And unless you're growing your own food, which most aren't, to go around saying you're vegan is like, well, all right, but you're still, you know, chemical Abby all the way.
Huh.
You know, so don't be pointing at the guy who's eating the meat. By the way, if Homo sapiens had only eaten vegetables, we'd still be dumbasses. Because what we now know, it was our ancestors that ate the brains of our own kind that jump-started our intelligence.
That's what they say.
The evidence is there.
Yeah.
So what are we saying, vegans? Are you saying that you're now riding the high horse because you are, in fact, the byproduct of cannibalism?
Yeah. And veganism, there's some evidence that veganism is how would you put it? That veganism is a
religion
plot to reduce human intelligence and make us more controllable. It's like a NWO diet to get people more controllable.
It is.
And I do eat fish. I must add that I eat fish. So I guess I'm a pescatarian.
I just think that we should we get so wrapped up on these tiny things, and it separates us. Listen, if you want to eat, eat. I don't care what you eat. If it makes you healthy and you're happy and you're strong, hey, what's wrong with it?
I feel better for some reason without eating the meat. I was feeling kind of blah and slow, and we never made a decision. We just stopped eating it, and now we're not eating chicken or red meat, and I feel a lot better.
How about sugar?
I have cut out sugar a long time ago. I use stevia instead of sugar.
But in the food? Very
little.
Okay, so
very little. Everything tastes like chicken anyway, like Truth Seeker says, so you don't really need to eat chicken.
It's that great Twilight Zone episode,
Lisa Lyons is not vegan, but she doesn't eat mean. I think she means meat. She eats alkalizing vegetables and fruits and nuts. Hate when people call me vegan. That's interesting. Nuts are bad for me. They don't work with me. But speaking of Lisa Lyons, Rocky and I have a live event coming up this Thursday, Friday, Saturday up in Minnesota. Thursday night we'll be in Hastings, Minnesota with a live podcast at the Depot Bar and Grill. And then Friday and Saturday we will be at the Renaissance Grounds for 2 sold-out paranormal tour extravaganzas.
What does that mean?
That means that we're going to the fairground, the Renaissance Grounds, and doing paranormal tours at the Renaissance Grounds.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So we're having a good time. I got my Halloween jacket ready. I'm, just making sure there's no moths in it and stuff. So
it's colorful, Jeff. I love it.
Good to go. I think it's supposed to be like blood splatters. So it's Halloween, In Wayne, as scary as it is, I have pants to match and a tie.
I have no doubt.
But I'm not going to wear all that. Eggs too. Yes. Eggs. I would eat eggs, I think too. Eggs from private farms. Absolutely. I think the egg, remember the incredible edible egg? I think it really is. It's one of the great little food things of all times.
Yes, and as
easy little carry case.
My wife, who's been a nurse for many, many decades, will always say there are certain blood types, they have to have a certain protein.
Oh yeah, and I think I'm that with O positive. But I mean, what's more convenient than an egg? You hard boil it, you can put it in your pocket, put it in your purse, carry it around in your hand, and then you just crack it open and eat it. It's great.
They do stink, though.
They do stink a little bit, but hey.
Have you ever been on a plane and someone eating a hard-boiled egg?
I don't think so, and I hope not. And I don't like to get on planes anymore, Wayne. I really don't. Yeah. In fact, once we get back from Minnesota I think we get back on Monday. By Wednesday, I'll be back in the car, and instead of flying, I'm driving down to Laughlin, Nevada. You ever been to Laughlin?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to Laughlin, Nevada. There's a UFO conference that I'm going to be at, and I'm driving that way. So it's going to be some time of contemplation and stuff.
Okay. Well, be careful. Winter weather is coming. So,
that's right. I do have to go through Flagstaff. I might have to alter that.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think there's any snow flying yet, is there?
No, we're getting our first storm. We got it last week, but the mountains are starting to get, and it's as good. I mean, they're supposed to get a foot of snow up there today. So,
well, good for them.
So interesting. It's so driving as opposed to flying. Why? Is it the intrusion on the security, or is it just the being packed in like cattle in the slaughter car, or what?
Well, when you get to be my age, Wayne, you don't mind a little fondling now and then. In fact, it's kind of a nice thing, but I don't like the idea of being stuck in a tube with everybody else's exhalations and all of their juices and stuff for any longer than a time than I have to. Now, when I go to Florida, I'm still going to get on a plane to go to Florida, but I'm not going to fly any more than I have to. I'm just not. I don't like the airports. I don't like the security, and I don't like breathing in what everybody else is breathing out.
Listen, it's all recycled air.
Oh, I
Used
just
to be
don't
the
like it.
time when they would actually bring in fresh air, but in order to do that, it's cost more to do that.
Were they using locks back in those days?
Well, no, it's the way that they have to temper the air, because it's bringing in at 30,000 feet. You're like, I don't know, 40, 50 degrees below zero.
So they don't bring in fresh air?
No, most of the time it's just augmented, recycled.
Oh, that's so terrible. So they scrub it, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
don't like it.
And the way most planes are maintained today, unfortunately, those filters are not changed as often as they should be.
I can imagine. Plus, there's the radiation up there. So,
Hey, listen, one of the reasons why I stopped flying, I was, but anyway, the point is that the radiation, the cosmic rays are beginning to be so intense. What people are not realizing is that they are in a trip from, let's say, Portland, Oregon to Dallas, Texas. You're smoking the equivalent of 3 packs of cigarettes.
really?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
That's what the cosmic rays do to you. And if you happen to be on a flight where it's at a peak, then, and by the way, there's no shielding up there. It's rumored, Jeff, and it's just rumored that the Russians have one of their cosmonauts up there that has gone bonkers.
No kidding.
Yeah, and the reason is that they suspect increased exposure to cosmic rays.
Wow.
It drives humans insane.
Rex doesn't fly either.
Well, maybe it's a trend.
Maybe it's a trend.
Maybe it's a trend.
Plus, you see a lot of cool stuff when you're driving. The stuff you always drive by. You stop and look at that stuff. It's cool stuff.
It's how we used to do it. I mean, when Eisenhower put in the interstate system for the military, suddenly we got to see what America was all about.
Yeah. Speaking of Eisenhower, on Saturday, or is it Sunday? Either on Saturday and Sunday at the conference, at my booth, I'll have live Laura Eisenhower, live Gosha from Cosmic Agency via YouTube. So I got a big TV and I'm going to interview them, and we're going to play the TV so people there can hear this bonus interview. So if you're going to the deal, come by, and while you're there, buy a book.
Why not?
I'm debuting a new book, Alien Agenda in the New Testament.
You are?
I am.
The Alien Agenda and the New Testament.
Absolutely.
Interesting. And can you give us a little?
Every major event in the life of Jesus was accompanied by astounding UFO, ET, and alien agenda events. Birth, crucifixion, resurrection, second coming, all alien agenda. Interesting stuff.
Well, he was born a hybrid if he lived. So
yeah, if he
makes sense to me. Yeah. I can connect the dots like boom, 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 boom. Well, cool. Well, happy travels out there.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And then after that, when I get back the next Friday, I think we're going to Nashville for a show called Play It James. It's a tribute to James Burton, who was Elvis's concert band, 70s concert band guitarist, also played for Glenn Campbell, the Monkees. So we got Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees, Roy Orbison's kids, a lot of big stars coming in. So it's all going to be fun times on November 12th in Nashville, Tennessee. So if you want to go see that show, get your tickets now.
Now, are you going to be in it?
No, my buddy is producing it. So
okay, cool.
I'm just going to be standing there watching.
Yeah. Nashville,
Tennessee, my friend.
Yeah. Lived there. Nice town.
It is a nice town.
Terrible water, but nice.
I'm very
town.
disappointed though, because Paul McCartney was coming, but he's not able to make it. So I'm not going to get to meet Paul McCartney, which I thought I was.
Sir Paul,
he's not able to make it.
What, to the Nashville event?
Yeah, to the Nashville event. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what's up with that?
I was looking forward to looking at him. I wanted to see if he was fall or not. But
well, now, are you being serious? Was he really supposed to be there?
Yeah, he was supposed to be there, and something came up. He just wasn't able to make it. So
okay. You contend that that's not the real Paul?
No, I think it is.
You think it is?
I do.
Okay.
I just think he was subjected to a lot of MK Ultra torture and probably what I call temporal torture, Wayne. I think they phased him across time and space. And that accounts for the physical differences between the young Paul and the Sir Paul we have now.
Okay. Anything? I like the music.
The music is great. I mean, but think of what are the odds that you got a guy like Paul McCartney, the Beatles, and then you kill him and replace him with somebody else and he's better? What are the odds? Come on.
I don't know.
I mean, you're a musician. What are the odds of, as great as Paul McCartney was before 66, then you get Paul McCartney after 66 and he's been replaced and he's better, arguably? I don't know.
The one thing that's always been on the White Album, the Long and Winding Road, that song, which broke, it absolutely introduced a whole new music to us, was in, I think it was in 5/4 time. The long and winding road, bum, 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 leads me back. And that was absolute genius.
What year was that?
Was that 68?
Okay, so that would have been post Sergeant Pepper. So that's different, Paul. And I think it's still Paul McCartney, and I think that he will tell us the whole story, but it'll be posthumously.
Yeah. It's
as it should be, maybe.
There was that period with the White Album that things really got strange with those boys.
Well, didn't they really start getting strange at Sgt. Pepper's? I mean, that was completely new music for them. They
say that, at least from Ringo's point of view, that the LSD was really beginning to impact.
They were 432 until Sgt. Pepper. Then they went 440 with Sgt. Pepper, and just nuts.
Yep. And what a wild, and if you ever take an LSD, you listen to Sgt. Pepper's, it can get really trippy.
Oh, so it makes sense if you take LSD. Huh?
You see Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. I have seen that, and so, but
and that album cover is amazing too when you break it down, all of the stuff in it. I didn't realize this until I did the research for a book that I just updated, and we're going to be bringing out again. Everybody in that album cover, except for the Beatles, in quotes, are dead.
They were all dead.
All dead. And observing the whole thing is Aleister Crowley. Amazing stuff.
Deep
clearly
stuff.
A funeral.
And then Yellow Submarine came out during that whole time.
Weird thing that was.
And if you've ever seen the movie, the Blue Meanies, I mean, though that was
it an animated movie?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
The one of the best songs, "The Fool on the Hill."
I'm not a Beatles fan, believe it or not. I like the pre-66 music, and I like Paul's music and John's music, but I was never really a Beatles fan.
Yeah. I did get to meet George Harrison, but he was a cool dude.
Yeah, he was an interesting dude. That song that he had after they broke up, that was nothing but Hare Krishna, praise the Lord.
Sweet Lord.
What a song that was.
Love that song. It's a good song.
It was all just, Hare Krishna.
Well, actually, according to George, he contended that all religions are the same.
Okay, I can see that with the whole lyrics of the song are praise the Lord, Hare Krishna, whatever. So that was the point he was making.
It's actually divided into 3 segments. The first one is to the Christian God. My sweet Lord.
Right.
And then it brings in Krishna.
Right.
And then at the end, it's the unification of all worshiping the Lord.
Oh.
Speaking of that, what do you think of Kanye? Kanye in his miraculous conversion.
I think Kanye's miraculous conversion is like a lot of these people's miraculous conversions when their career starts tanking. Nobody gets saved at the height of their popularity. They all wait until things are going down. That's when it's so funny that's when what's her name from King of Queens, her career's over. So then she decides, I just have to tell everybody about Scientology. Didn't have to tell nobody when her career was good, but when her career is bad, now it's time. Kanye can't sell no records. Now it's time to bring in the Jesus juice. It's a play for money.
And the whole thing, it's like
Rocky, what's up
pay-per-view
tonight, 9 p.m. Rocky Stucci and I. Shut up and listen.
It's and then they got the NFL guy now, the man of God, right?
Who's that?
Oh, he's starting to sell apparel and everything else. I mean, yeah. Just that, it's like, wow, where did this come from?
Yeah, I mean, they all go religion when their career's over.
All right, so did a little thing. Did you see the story that came out this week, Jeff, on the church in Tulsa? I think I don't know what the name of the church is. We're bragging the fact that they brought in last year nearly $140 million.
Wow. That's a lot of money.
And, under the IRS tax code, churches don't have to report what they take in.
Right.
If they do it voluntarily, there is an auditing group amongst Christian churches. So
is that the Evangelical Financial Accountability Association?
Yes. Of which, anyway, we will get into that.
Which really isn't.
That's like the fox in the hen house. But
that's
anyway.
Right.
So this is when you take giving in America, which virtually 95% of it goes to Christian churches, it's exceeding $132 billion.
Wayne, how many of those people are mind controlled and how many of them are just plain stupid?
I would say the mind control first and the gullibility second. Or maybe it's the gullibility that got them into the mind control. Maybe that's how we should put it.
I came up with a new term this week, and you got the fake news media, right? Now, the people that are on YouTube selling the Jesus juice and all of its different forms, I call them now the fake views media. So of the fake views media, how many of them know what they're doing and how many of them are just stupid in your estimation?
How many of them know what they're doing?
Yes.
I don't think many of them do.
Really? You're a lot more optimistic than I am, Wayne. I think at least half of them know exactly what they're doing.
They may. I mean, it's a nasty thing. I just looked at this, and when you take it on the U.S. economy by industry, this makes this industry the 8th biggest industry in the United States.
That's craziness. Somebody said the Pyramid in Memphis is now a Bass Pro Shop?
I think it is. Yeah, I think Johnny bought that out.
Wow.
Nice little digs, huh?
I started buying my ammo at Bass Pro Shop because it's a lot cheaper than the shooting range.
Yes, it is. Quite a bit.
Now, I was told that Walmart's going to stop selling ammo.
Mm-hmm. And in California, now that Newsom signed that law, it's not easy to buy ammo out there at all.
Wow. Well, I want you to know that I was concealed carrying in Walmart this weekend. They can bite me.
So anyway, there we go. That's why this industry will never go away.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Boy, how many billions?
Over 100 billion.
Over 100 billion. That's a lot of money.
A lot of money.
And don't tell me,
is God broke?
Follow the money. And then you take Romans, what is it? Romans what chapter is it where you got to obey the government because they're
Romans 8:28. Yeah.
They are
because only if you have something to fear should you fear
money is their God.
Well, apparently it's a lot of other gods too. I mean, I ask myself as Captain Kirk, is God broke?
See, that's why. It's just so ridiculous, man. It's so ridiculous.
Hey, I want to ask that question, America. Is God broke?
Well, he's not very good with money, as George Carlin said.
I mean, I let me tell you, I bought into it.
Romans
the reason
13.
why I was giving was because I like the 100-fold return thing.
Yeah.
It's a great Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
I give you $1, I get $100 back because that's how good my God is.
Did it work out that way for you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You see me swimming in it around here?
Oh, wow.
I asked a lawyer friend of mine this week, by the way, about the ability to sue churches.
Yeah, we talked about that
And
last week.
yeah, if you had like the Southern Baptist, which they make that part of their platform, you could technically sue them.
Right, because they said you have to do it if you're part of us.
Yes. In fact, the obligation on these nonprofits is the fact that they have to show justification of what they're spending. I
Right.
mean, they just can't take it in and say, you know, yeah. Isn't that fun?
It's amazing. Just had a good point. And I forgot what it was.
I'll remember. You'll get it.
About the government. It's so amazing that all of these people in the fake views media, they can break down the FBI, they can break down the NSA, they can break down the Fed, they can break down all of these government agencies, and people like Dark Wing Allah can break down everything and tell about all of the problems. But when it comes to the BIBLE, which is just another alphabet agency, all of a sudden, no, we can't research that. We can't look at that objectively. We can't vet that. No, that's because you're afraid and you're stupid and it's going to blow up in your face. But that's what I'm here for.
Well, you have to admit it's a good gig.
I just don't understand how there's really no such thing. There is no such thing as a Christian truther. They do not exist because they won't touch the Bible.
No, that's sacred ground, brother. You can't touch
bullshit.
That. I was sitting in a doctor's office. I had to get my eyes examined. Thank you, Dr. Tim. And man, someone started talking about Jesus in this, and my wife grabs my arm and says, "Please don't say a word. Please don't say a word."
This was at the doctor.
Yeah, my eyes are dilated, and we're hearing this conversation. She's going, "Please don't say a word," because I really was. I was almost there. But because I wanted to ask the guy, what name did Paul preach in?
Yeah, exactly. The name of Jesus. Well, that didn't exist.
How did that happen? So, True story. I'm in there talking to Dr. Tim and, doing the whole eye thing. And he says, "So what are you into lately?" And I said, the interesting thing I've been wanting to know is that I said, "Do you think God's a Christian?"
Oh, wow.
He said, "I've never heard that before." And, I said, it's just a question. And so he's looking at my eyes and I said, "By the way, was Adam a Homo sapien or was he Cro-Magnon or was he a Neanderthal?" He drops the thing. He says, "I never thought of that either."
Yeah.
And he said, and he stopped. He said, "That's a damn good question."
It is a good question, isn't it?
It is. Anyway, what's that? Marzulli.
Why won't Marzulli or Begley debate me?
Oh, you know what? Because Paul Begley couldn't stand up to an honest conversation without running behind the only thing that they've got, and that's their Bible. And you start turning that down.
Right now, we've only got 40,000 subscribers. We're working on it, but we've only got 40,000. So now I'm easy-ish to ignore. But when it's 100, 140, 200, 240, then it gets harder for them to ignore me. And I'm not going away. I want to debate them on eschatology.
It won't happen. It won't happen. Well, I mean,
what are they afraid of?
Well, it's exactly what they're afraid of is the fact that their greatest fear is brought out. They don't believe.
How can you really believe that you're worshiping God if you can't even defend it?
Well, again, if your bread and butter comes from one source, you're certainly not going to defecate upon it.
It's all about the money. It really is.
It is.
It's all about the money. It's so sad. It's all about the money. I remember back in the day when people would debate, people were sure of their convictions, but not anymore.
No, I think Mike Rose said it best. We live in a culture of knowers. Everybody knows something because they go to the oracle and they don't know crap. But as long as they got their phone or something, their computer, they don't know it themselves. And this is the problem. They'll go to Google and type it in, and now I know. You see, you're wrong. And that's what Mike Rowe was saying recently in an interview.
Google says.
And he says, this is another indication of the downfall of America, is that we don't have people who really know anything.
Yeah. What's the dude with the great big whiteboard?
Who's that?
He's always got the white shirt and the black tie on, and he's got a great big whiteboard.
I don't know.
I can't remember who he is. He might debate. I'll have to try to stir him up. I forget his name.
Well, you know, here's what I simply, my conversation with my doctor is like this. I said, here's the problem with the Bible. I said, you are based on everything on the Abrahamic religions. I said, that's the big three. And I said, the Hindus, who were actually the oldest religion, they're kicked off to the side. But here's the point. I said, you know, when they discovered the Sumerian tablets, it made the Bible completely what I would call non-valuable.
Well, it surely made it apparent that they had, let's be nice, that they had borrowed liberally from other religions.
That's a good way. Plagiarism is another word, but
plagiarism is another word. Right?
I don't know. But you're absolutely right. And then we get Enki and Enlil, you know, and then Hazog. And now all of a sudden we have Göbekli Tepe, where now we're finding out they didn't exist either there. So now we're backdating this. So where are all these gods at?
It's fun. It
is fun. You know, Christianity is just it, you know, and history will show it. It will die out, and it will be viewed just like we view the Egyptian religions. The same thing we did with the Hittites, the Canaanites, the Chaldeans. So. Oh, it's inevitable. I mean, how far can you carry the gig? You know.
Well, I mean, it's 2,000 years now. It's clearly been shown that it's a lie, and yet they're still taking in $100 billion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When Hilton Sutton was alive, you know, back in the 80s, Hilton was a really well studier of Revelations. He, you know, anyway. And he was convinced that this whole Antichrist would be coming out of the European Union. We never knew about the Muslims. We didn't know about Islam in the 80s.
Right.
And lo and behold, look at what it's at. What is it? So, you know, I contend they can only play this. I've, you know, I lost subscribers and I've gotten ridiculed about it, but that's why I walked away from the Nibiru community.
Yeah.
It was so inundated with the Jesus virus that you couldn't, I mean, you can't have a conversation without everything being related to the apocalypse.
Right.
I mean, folks, come on. It's like that Danish family they found went underground about 18 years ago, and they thought that the whole world had ended.
I'm sorry, I got distracted by the chat room.
See, it happens.
Trying to figure out what this pastor's name is. He's got like his whole wall behind him is a whiteboard, and
I don't know who that is.
He used to have a big beard, then he shaved it off. I can't remember what his name is. Anyway,
why don't you reach out to Joel Osteen, see if he would debate you?
What's Joel going to debate about?
That God loves you, and that
well, I agree.
And your greatest moment is here now.
I agree with that.
And while you're opening your checkbook,
is Joel just preaching New Age?
That's all the hell he is, Pete. His father, John Osteen, is turning over in his freaking grave.
John, that dude was a preacher.
Listen, I knew John Osteen personally. He come from Southern Baptist, and when he got to be Pentecostal, I want to tell you what, he could preach heaven and earth down.
I actually preached for his daddy.
Did you really? I mean,
back in the day,
we were sitting on one of the camp meetings, and John Osteen was up there, and he was spitting everywhere, man. I mean, you could see the people in the front row going, but anyway, yeah. So
Joel's made him some money, though. I guess he got him a real fancy Ferrari now or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, when they bought the Compact Center, because the Lakewood was too far out. Yeah.
Their church is where the Houston Rockets used to play, right?
Yeah.
It used to be called what did that thing used to be called?
It was a Compact Center.
Before that, it was called something else.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was before that, but this is the scam. I wish that this was the true state of that, this love, peace, and, harmony.
Was that called the Summit?
It was called the Summit. Thank you. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
My brother, who still lives in Houston, would be telling me that.
And he definitely has the gospel hair.
Oh, yes, he does. Well, he's got everything. He's got the smile, and, he's he's
got the wife to go with it too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Your typical Christian looking wife.
Veronica.
Does she preach?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's her name?
I think it's Veronica.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Of course it is.
I think it is.
Did she used to be in Hollywood or a stripper or something?
I don't know what her deal was. It's the whole thing when I saw Paula White again, and
Paula looks rough, like she's been ridden hard and put up wet, which I think she has many times, and she likes it. But
she's married to Jonathan Cain, so when I see that cat now singing with Journey, and I'm going,
dude, the freaky deaky stuff that goes on in that household, you don't even know. Her name's Victoria.
Victoria, there we go. Thank you.
According to Tracy Dyer, the Oracle.
Yeah.
Steve Quayle, Cynthia mentioned I might have more success getting Steve Quayle. Now, is he Jesused up too?
Stephen Quayle is a good guy. I wish he just wasn't. He is. He's a real Jesus type person. But
would he debate?
I think he would.
Historicism versus futurism.
I think he might.
All right, I'm going to put his name down.
Yeah, I've got a lot of his books in my library. He's kind of a truther, weather wars. Yeah. Like I said, you check out some of his material.
What is funny is I try to get in contact with people to be on the show or to talk about stuff. And some of these people, you can't find them.
Mm-mm.
There's no email address. It's like they don't want to be contacted.
No. I've had some.
Paula White did date Benny Hinn. They got caught off in Europe or somewhere holding hands and kissing and stuff. Yeah. Dude, why is Paula White dating Benny Hinn? Has Benny got that much money?
I thought Benny was married.
Or just that much? He probably was. Just that much influence? Is that what she was with him for?
Well, she's
or maybe Benny's physically gifted beyond what meets the eye. I don't know.
Well, they're all connected. TD Jakes, she calls TD Jakes Papa Jakes. That's Paula.
Yeah, but I don't think she was been kissing TD Jakes. At least there's no photographic evidence yet. But she was all over the media with Benny.
Mm-hmm.
She was all over his hen.
Listen, it's all about the money, folks.
Think about Paula White and Benny Hinn having sex.
I don't.
They yell out, "Oh God."
Every woman does.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine those two? That's horrible.
Uh-huh. That's why I keep saying to ourselves, we are gods, because in the midst of a climatic situation, you're saying, oh God, oh God, oh God. And, I'm going, so I'm here, baby. What do you want? So the point is.
You think when they're laying hands on each other, are they healing each other? Does he make her, you know what he does? He waves his undershorts and she passes out and then he has sex with her. That's the way it works.
I'm hearing George Michael's, I want your sex.
That's how it works. I got it. Dude, do you think with Benny, with that whole wave his coat and people fall thing, do you think they ever were really falling or was it just all pretending?
I think some people become so psyched up that they become susceptible to any of that. It's the same thing if you're going into a haunted house. You're expecting ghosts. So you're ramped up psychically, mentally, emotionally. Yeah. But the thing we don't talk about in many churches is the amount of homosexuality that are in churches.
Oh, today. Dude, the choir, musicians. That's why preachers can't preach against homosexuality, because you'd lose the organ player in half the choir.
Well, there's a lot of those preachers in those pulpits that are homosexuals. In fact,
Well, Wayne,
the Bible
if you have sex with a man every couple months, does that make you homosexual?
It's like, have you stopped beating your wife?
Or is that? Now, I have a theory, and this is way off the point, but I have a theory. If you could fall in love, if you're a man and you could fall in love with a man and marry a man, then you're homosexual. If you're, or at least bisexual, because if you could do the same with a woman, then you're bisexual. If you're a woman and you could fall in love with a woman and marry her, and same with a man, then you're bisexual. If you're a man that could just fall in love with marry only men, then you're homosexual. But if you're a man or a woman that couldn't fall in love with a man or a woman, but wants to have sex with them every now and then, you're just a freak.
I think the term is bisexual.
You're a freak.
I think you're bisexual.
Do you?
I don't know.
I thought to be bisexual, you'd have to actually be able to meet and fall in love with someone of your.
What does love got to do with it?
What's love got to do? Got to do it. Cautious observer says you're only gay if you make eye contact. I thought if you keep your socks on, it's not gay.
Yeah.
You know it is. You suck one penis, you're gay for life. I don't understand.
I don't know. I mean, you read the
freaky, yeah, freakosexual. There you go.
You read the book of Adam and Eve, that's the thing that Adam said to Eve.
No, I don't have anything to say. I'm just trying to be openly minded.
Adam said to Eve, why should I have sex with myself?
I think Freddie Mercury was just straight gay. He didn't have sex with women, right? He
was married.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he was having sex with her.
No, they actually did have sex. They were,
So Freddie Mercury did have sex with men and women?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, so he wasn't a homosexual then.
He ended up swinging for the, He
ended up exclusively hitting from the other side of the plate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So then he was really gay, and he just.
I think he always was.
First.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've met a lot of people, in my life that, that's just the way they're wired.
But I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't know.
It's weird.
But yeah.
So someone had to teach us about sex.
I don't think God really cares much what you're doing with your genitals, unless you're hurting other people.
That's really a profound statement to make, because quite frankly, I think this whole thing, it doesn't care. The whole idea of sex, it's a great thing. I think it's what the spirits are most envious about humans, is the fact that we can have sex.
Probably. I don't even care if
does the spirit have sex?
I don't care what my neighbors are doing, as long as they keep the drapes closed. Unless it's really good, they could leave them open. But you know.
Well, the thing is, do spirits have sex?
That's actually a good question.
I've thought about it deeply.
Yeah.
And the answer is yes.
Is being gay wrong? What is wrong? What is right? Who cares?
It's none of my business. I mean,
If Freddie Mercury hurt other people, not that I know of.
I'll tell you, his music certainly has uplifted a lot of people.
Kevin Martin says, what about handcuffs?
Only if you have protection around the sides.
Only if that had the furry stuff on the inside.
Exactly. You don't want to be marks.
I just leave those at home for me.
I never could figure out why people got into spanking. As a kid, I was beaten, and I didn't like that shit at all.
Cynthia says it sucks. Wow, that's strong language. When guys pretend to be straight and then get married to a woman.
And then they walk out 10, 20 years later
and shatter the woman.
Cynthia, absolutely agree. They need to do an inside job before they made the commitment.
Well, the inside job's the problem, Wayne. They were doing it the whole time. But not the right one.
I just thought of something that was really funny.
What about assless chaps?
You know what? You're going to get red ass.
You are. But I mean, whatever. If you want to wear those around your house, that's fine.
Listen, whatever floats your boat. Remember this, though, ladies and gentlemen. All spirits are voyeurs. So you're never by yourself.
Right. That's in my comedy act. It's true. Think about that next time you're involved in whatever you're involved in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got a great cloud of witnesses. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
Isn't that something, man? Imagine the stuff that they see.
I'm
And
going to
is
be
there a
doing.
break room in heaven that the angels go in and swap stories about at the end of the day?
It
Wow.
kind of makes that whole idea of heaven and hell. You get this idea. Well, again, as Billy Joel said, I'll rather, you know, laugh with the sinners and cry with the saints.
Karen Steele, and
Hey,
maybe
Karen.
the TMI, she says that she has assless chaps.
Yeah, they make them.
I know they make them.
Oh, she actually owns a pair.
She says she has some.
Oh, well, far out.
Wow.
Far out. I mean, let it shine.
I have
Yeah.
leather pants
Yeah.
from my motorcycle riding days.
Mm.
But I could Billy Idol those. I should rock those. Maybe with this jacket. What do you think?
That would probably work.
Then people be thinking, is he gay?
Now, all you need is a motorcycle cap.
Oh, God, like a Freddie Mercury?
Yeah.
Then it would remove all doubt. Definitely. Yeah.
Oh, come on. That would be good in your comedy act. Come on.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh,
Cynthia thinks that she can convert people from gay to straight. Really?
I wouldn't know because I'm.
Wow. Now Jennifer Roberts is really breaking it down. So we won't even read that one out loud, but you can read it. Somebody makes a good point. Aren't all chaps assless? They, by definition, I think they are.
I think they are. I think that's why they call them chaps. And that's
Why
why I
they
think,
call them
that
chaps.
chaps my ass.
Then the miss,
That's where that term comes from.
The missus asked, do ripped jeans count? Well,
they look good. Yeah,
a members only jacket. God, you remember those things?
I do.
Oh, she was talking about my leather pants. What did she say about my leather pants? She can change them. Oh, she can alter them to where I actually thought about making them into just chaps.
Someone
I thought about how
said,
to do that.
you need to get I like the idea of the fake mustache.
Oh, gross. And then you could sing YMCA.
Oh, God.
That would be awesome.
Oh, that would be funny.
So if they removed all of the gay people from the church.
Well, you'd probably be about 30% lighter.
Wow. Interesting. So why do gay people go to church? Why do women go to church when what Paul said about them is right there for them to see? Why do they still go there?
I'm trying to figure out which Bible they're preaching out of, because the one that I read.
When's the last time you heard a preacher get up and preach about Paul's
homosexuality? Paul and women? No. And the whole thing about homosexuals in Christianity is that in Leviticus, it says to put you to death.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only people are born gay?
I don't know. I think that it's a natural tendency of which every human being has.
I never saw anybody born happy. They're always crying.
You're coming into this hellhole. You're not laughing. That's for sure.
Probably not.
I contend that this is the death realm, but anyway,
there'd be very few priests left. Oh, that's pedophiles. Yeah, pedophile and gay doesn't mean the same thing.
But there's just. Yeah,
but here's the thing I never understood. Well, Jeff, just because those priests are having sex with boys doesn't mean they're homosexual. I'm like, wait a second. They're having sex with a boy. Isn't that exactly what homosexuality is? Or is a pedophilia trump the homosexual part?
Listen, it's embedded in the religion.
Yeah, it is. It's part and parcel of the religion from the beginning.
From the beginning.
Yep. That's why they're never going to get rid of it.
Yeah, they never will.
It's a sacrament. Child sex and abuse is a sacrament in the Christian church.
It's almost where you want to come out with this idea of the Anunnaki story, with the whole thing with Enki and Enlil and the creation chamber. I'd rather see us being probably manufactured than to say that our species started with basically incest and pedophilia.
Tracy says the priests are doing sex magic. It's probably not about sex. I don't know if I agree. Yes and no.
I have some pretty heavy books on sex magic, and sex is involved.
Well, yeah, I don't think she means they're not doing it just because they like to have sex with boys. They're doing it for. All of the above. I would say yes and no on that.
I don't know. In my youth, I had sex with women that on the drop of a dime. So I don't know. When you got the hormones going, it gets a little whacked out at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, if humanity started from just a female and a male, then the whole species is predicated upon incest and pedophilia.
Well, at least incest for sure.
Well, all right. So you're still going to have probably, look at even with the New Testament. If Mary was in fact a young girl,
probably, I'm thinking she's probably 10, maybe
that's
11.
pedophile. That's pedophile.
It is pedophilia.
Yeah.
And she was immobilized and raped.
They don't want to talk about that stuff now.
So from the very beginning of Christianity, God is a pedophile. The God of the Bible is a pedophile. Can I put that on a t-shirt?
I think you probably would draw some attention to it.
That one people would say something, wouldn't they?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's the same thing when I say that God's a murderer. I mean,
and I would debate that too.
The Christian God is the Hebrew God, the Islamic God, the Hindu God. They're all murderers.
Jennifer says she was date raped. He didn't even kiss her first. It wasn't date rape. It was just straight up rape.
What a scene that must have been.
Oh, horrible.
I still thinking, all right, so tell me, how in the hell does a spirit being manifest semen to actually come inside the womb?
Well, what if he didn't manifest semen? The Bible says that Mary was incapacitated. She was overtaken as in an attack, and then she was left with something in her womb from the Lord. So it just means that he implanted something in her. It doesn't mean there was any real conception.
When you were talking, there was a movie out.
Oh, God raped Mary t-shirt.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a good name for a band. God raped Mary.
It was called The Entity, and it was the true story of the woman in Los Angeles around the late 70s, early 80s, where they actually they recorded it. She was raped by a spirit. I mean, it threw off her boyfriend. They had cameras rolling, and she literally, her legs were spread apart, and whatever it was left bruises on the inside of her thighs. So
I would say I would find that hard to believe, but wow.
But watch the movie. You can actually see it. It was one of the first cases of psychic rape, or what they would call spiritual rape. I don't know what you'd call it, but the woman was raped.
Whoa.
Multiple times. Once with her 2 children watching.
Oh, but Mary definitely was.
So, yeah, Cynthia, you saw that movie. Yeah, and it was a crazy movie. So that brings up a good question, and I'd love to get into it more. We should, because this begins to bring on physical manifestations of a spiritual realm, which contends that maybe they're not spiritual at all. Maybe it's the fact that we can't see the fact of their corporeal forms.
Ooh, there you go, Wayne. That's good.
I got on my whiteboard right there, brother.
What did I just see? Rosemary's Baby was about that, right?
Yeah, same thing, but that one is a little bit more ritualistic. The story of the entity was a normal working woman just trying to raise her kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe then you could say that the Lord, God of the Bible isn't really, where's the scripture about the date rape in the Bible? It's all, you'll have to look on the rest of this channel. I'm not going to spoon feed you.
It's there. It's there. Just
There's
go into the
900 videos about it.
Yeah. It's
and people get mad at me for that, but I will not spoon feed. Do some research. I just won't.
You'll be happier.
I won't.
Yeah.
You'll read it in the Greek. How many? There's only two chapters in the whole freaking Bible, 2 books in the whole Bible that talk about the birth of Jesus. Look them up in the original Greek, and there you go. There's only 55 verses in the whole Bible of 8,000 verses that talk about the birth of Jesus. And guess what, Wayne? That's 0.666%.
There you go.
Isn't that interesting?
And here's the other thing with the people who are still wrapped into that religion. They always bring up the Bible, but folks, what was the Bible for over 1,500 years? Wasn't the Bible. It was the Latin what?
The Vulgate.
Oh my God.
What's a Vulgate?
What's the Vulgate?
What
I
is
want
a
to check into
Vulgate?
that.
Yeah.
Well, check into it. We're not going to do their homework for them. Go and
Yeah.
check out. It will open your eyes to the deception of what this Bible is.
Oh yeah, it's a alphabet agency.
Exactly. Thank you, William Shakespeare, Mr. Beacon. I
Oh
like
yeah.
that, by the way. That was a good interview with
Joseph Atwell.
yeah.
He is brilliant.
He is brilliant.
That guy is brilliant. He really is. We're gonna have him back on. Did you see the one that he did about the Shakespeare book?
Yes, that's the one I was talking
Messiah?
about.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing stuff.
Most
Oh, here's a
people
great, somebody brings this up. Shane Stevenson. This is the way it's going to be with AI. Poof, you're pregnant.
Yeah.
I was just going with Yahweh became an entity and you just didn't see him. He did rape her, but you couldn't see him because he was in a different frequency. So he was just another entity. That's interesting.
Well, there is someone showed me an Amazon Prime, their series called Branded. It's about a guy who can see the corporate entities that are born.
Ooh.
So really, it's a
corporate entities. What do you mean?
Yes. Well, every company, it's not about, they always say it's the company. Amazon's position or this. They actually, when these come together and companies are formed and the energies are put together and the covenants are made, contracts are signed, they give birth to an actual thought form
entity, huh?
To a tupla.
So most of them die then because most businesses fail. Wow.
Very good,
and I know,
friend.
Robert USN Vet Third Generation can talk about this and a lot of other people that there's all of these, geez, get out of here, metaphysical mama. That's so silly. All of these, not literally get out of here, but get out of here with that comment. All of these corporations have black magicians working for them.
That's why they have logos.
They all have black musicians working for them. And Cynthia says they all have sigils as well, which is true.
Very true.
So my question to you, Wayne, is Donald Trump a powerful magician or does he just have them working for him?
I think the man's a wizard.
Yeah, okay. I would say yes and yes is the answer to that question.
Yeah, he's a wizard.
Time traveler?
He's of a different mind than I've ever seen.
Reincarnation of Patton?
Wouldn't that be something?
I saw
that show.
Greg Allison and Jenny Moonstone, and wow, it's good.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I mean, the cycle goes through, and George, if there was one person who was unabashed, was that he was in fact a leader and would be reincarnated as a leader.
Absolutely. And
that's his destiny, he said in his memoirs, that although I may die in this life and not succeed, I shall yet come back again as even a greater leader.
He did. He said that. I just got chills when you said that, Wayne. I just bought a book called The Death of Patton, written by Bill O'Reilly.
I've read it. It's a fantastic book.
I'm going to do a series on it, I think.
Fantastic book.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
Bill O'Reilly's a pretty good writer, huh?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, Bill's a good guy. I like Bill. Yeah. Good writer. He did read The Assassination of Kennedy. He did 2 books.
I'm not as interested in that one for some reason right now.
Well, and I'm just saying, and he also did one on Lincoln, which was a mind blower. I mean,
pardon the pun.
Why was this? Freudian slip.
See, I think Lincoln got what he deserved.
Well, apparently,
I don't think that was a false flag. I think that was, there was somebody, he just pissed off too many Southerners and one of them shot him. I think that's open and shut. It's easy.
They had it well planned.
Yeah, I don't know if that was an actual false flag. I've been thinking about this, Wayne. I've been debating what was the very first false flag. Now, we're not biblical times, but the first modern false flag.
Well, I don't know. There's a number of things that I would come up with, but I don't know. It's a good idea. I have to look into that.
I'm thinking, was it the Titanic? Was it what did I have? I came up with one the other day. You know what I think the first modern false flag was? I think it was the Protestant Reformation. I think the Jesuits started the Protestant Reformation, and I've got proof.
Them rat bastards are everywhere.
So that's a false flag.
They're like a cockroaches.
Freethinker says, Jeff, can you ask him about the Illuminati Trump card? It looks more like Biden to me than Trump.
Biden will never make, listen, this is a joke. And this is I can't believe Americans are such dumbasses that they're buying this crap.
He is such, I mean, he's incapacitated.
And then you got Elizabeth Warren, an admitted racist and liar. And now that apparently the press is saying, well, if you question her on her lies, you're somehow, attacking her. What the freak? We don't have credibility anymore. America loves lies. Americans love lies.
We do.
They love it. And you know what? If someone tells them they're going to give them something for free, they'll give up their freedom to get that little bit of, something free.
They will. Liawatha.
Very good, Tracy.
Trump might steal that one.
He might.
No, Pocahontas he's already married to Pocahontas. He can't use that one. The first false flag was a crucifixion. That's a good one. That's going way back though.
Yeah.
I don't know how far back we can go, but that definitely was a false flag.
I was talking to you earlier about my optometrist, and I was telling him about the whole asking these questions. And I said, let me ask you something. I said, who is Vespasian? He said, never heard the name. I said, who's Titus? Don't know who that is either. And when I explained to him, I said, so do you know who Josephus is? He says, I think I've heard that name. And
this is a doctor.
Yes. And when I made the connection for him, he looked at me and he said, well, this almost seems like a complete fraud.
Exactly.
I said, really? It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The Titanic was a great false flag. I mean,
yeah. Well, it eventually docked, didn't it?
And I mean, the whole, you could say the whole Civil War was a false flag, but at least verifiable. The Union sailing into Charleston Harbor where they started it? That was definitely a false flag.
Yeah.
Lincoln ordered them to steam in there unarmed, and it looked like they were invading the South, so the South fired on him, gave him the moral right to go to war with the South. Is that Charleston?
I think it is.
It was Charleston.
Fort Sumter, isn't it?
Yeah, Fort Sumter. Can you imagine the president of the United States ordering his ships unarmed with their guns raised, looking like they're ready to fire into enemy territory? That's a suicide mission.
Yeah.
God, don't get me started.
All right.
Anyway, there we go.
What a morning.
Yeah, we went way over time, Wayne.
That's all right. Enjoyed it.
Well, that was fun. So you go ahead and go to Walmart.
Now I'm heading to Home Depot.
Yeah, I went yesterday.
Yeah, I got to get the snowblower running up and going.
That's right. You had some dry rot, I understand.
Yeah.
Well, better the snowblower than you.
Well, now, if you stop by Denver on your travels driving, give us a call.
I think I'm way south of there, but
I think you are.
You know.
Well, you ever come through this way, let us know.
Will do, my friend.
All right. Much love to you and Cynthia.
Absolutely. You and Lynn as well. And to all of you in the chat room, thanks for being here seeking after truth.
Thank you all. Appreciate
whatever else we throw at you.
Well, they certainly take a lot.
It's a lot of fun stuff.
It is, Jeffrey.
Yeah, get Joe Atwell's books. They are powerful. Caesar's Messiah and Shakespeare's Secret Messiah.
Blow you away. You'll find out just how much like rats we are.
Absolutely.
And then write your check.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Wayne, nice to be with you. And we'll see you all again real soon.
All right. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Take care.
Bye-bye, everyone.